Hey guys, it's One Battle One, and no surprise, here's another Batmobile review. This time, it's of a custom LEGO 1966 Batmobile. You're looking at a design that I finally landed on after putting more hours into it than I'd care to admit. The main inspiration for this design came from LEGO's release of their 1966 Batmobile from set 76052. Like with many of LEGO's vehicle builds before it, their 1966 Batmobile is plagued with being wildly out of proportion to minifigures. I can understand and respect the need to make their design stable and durable enough for their targeted audience, kids, but as an adult fan of LEGO, it's no bueno. My requirement is to have the vehicle as close as possible to minifigure scale. And with that said, I did make one exception for this particular vehicle. I wanted to fit both Batman and Robin comfortably. And to that point, my initial design was actually more narrow than this final design, by 2 studs to be exact. I was still able to fit both minifigures at the time, but they sat way too tall for my liking, so I went back to the drawing board, and after multiple iterations, I found that the 8 stud width that LEGO has with their original Batmobile fit the minifigures best. Although the width remained the same, both the length and the height of the vehicle was significantly reduced. With these new proportions, it's a bit wide for my personal taste, but I'm willing to make that compromise in order to have the minifigures fit more properly. This 1966 Batmobile is very close in size when compared to the 1989 Batmobile, so that was how I set the size constraint for it early on. For scale and reference, here's how it looks next to Lucas's 1989 Batmobile design. The front end was subject to most of the change. I stripped away the play feature and some of the greebling detail that I didn't find interesting at all, and in favor added channels of curves and grooves to better represent the hood detail of the vehicle. The transition from the hood towards the front bumper is also made to be more smooth and less abrupt. The front bumper was made to appear more flat at the very front with these curved slope pieces, but I do think that it really needs to be a new sticker with red trim detail needs to be applied to both to make it look more accurate. I kept things simple by making the decision of removing the narrow front kind of hood ornament design. In all reality, I wasn't able to come up with a solution that would work well and decided to completely opt out of putting it in to keep the design cleaner and more simple. The headlights are in transparent yellow, subtly placed at the front. These red half-size fenders and side moldings was retained, but you'll notice that the red side moldings don't perfectly line up where the fenders end. Unfortunately, this was another compromise that needed to be made in order to bring the vehicle height down. But on the upside, I was able to utilize these modified 1x2 plates with rail by attaching them along the sides of the car to give the side molding some depth. Because on the real vehicle, the moldings slightly protrude outwards. I went through great lengths in making sure that the visual discontinuity is kept to a minimum. And that's why I took the extra step in filling in the gaps that's prone to showing up near the fenders. That's a pretty common problem for smaller car builds such as this. I think the use of these curved bricks in trans clear is the best way of achieving the simulated front and rear bubble style windscreens, so I reused it in my model. I also kept the greebling detail on the center console strip that's suspended between Batman and Robin, but the console itself was redesigned to contour with the front and rear windscreens more accurately. It's a little bit hard to see, but if you're going to build the 1966 Batmobile, you gotta have the vital red phone, and there it is right there, sitting between Batman and Robin and made super accessible for the figures. As we turn around towards the rear, you'll notice that the side rear wings are properly placed, but designed to be a bit thinner and stretches out further from the tip of the rear all the way to the front of the windscreen, the front windscreen specifically. The 3 smokestacks or exhaust pipes makes an appearance and are represented by these bar pieces with the arm clip at the end. Most of what can be considered the trunk area is cleared away and has been replaced with tiles to continue with the simplified look. Layers upon layers of wedged plate pieces are used to give the rear that proper angled shaping. There actually should be more red, but there are some to suggest the full design from the real vehicle. These new rounded towel elements on the corners here continue to prove great use, super useful, and for this case, to take off a bit of the rigidness towards the edges of the rear bumper. The thruster or afterburner uses the familiar rocket piece in light bluish gray in order to match with the wheels. I think this design and what it eventually evolved into has far exceeded my expectations. The build is strong, there's enough detail for even non-fans of the vehicle or Batman to be able to easily discern what it's supposed to represent, and most importantly, it's in scale with all the other vehicles I have in my collection. If you are interested in building this model for yourself, please check out the description below for more detail. And that's pretty much it from me. Now it's your turn to share with me and the other viewers on what your thoughts are. Does it look better than Lego's version of it? What do you like and dislike about it? Until next time, this is One Battle One signing out.